Okay, welcome back to War of the Woods. I'm the Hittite, and we're doing How to Thaumcraft. Now, I realized in my last video that I'd be pretty remiss if I didn't at least try to explain how Essentia Tubes work and why they're such a frustrating pain in the butt for me. So, first off, we're going to need to make Essentia Tubes. You get a piece of iron on either side, glass block in the center, gold nugget on the bottom, quicksilver drop at the top. Keep in mind that it's the drop as in 1/9 of a full piece of quicksilver. And that makes 8 Essentia Tubes each. So we'll have 64 Essentia Tubes now. Now the second thing we're going to need is an Essentia Resonator, which will basically our stick for troubleshooting. It isn't quite percussive maintenance, but it's close. And it is kind of satisfying, the thunk it makes when you hit tubes with it. Next we're going to need some Essentia valves. Let's just grab 8 of those. What you do is you just combine an Essentia tube and a lever in a workbench and you get the valves. And the last thing we're going to need, grab those levers back, is some jar labels. Now for that you need 4 pieces of paper, like such, then a slime bowl, and an ink sac. And that gets you 4 blank jar labels each. Grab those back. Now the way you label jar labels is you combine them in the crafting grid with a file of the type of Essentia you want. In this case, Ignis, although we're not going to use it. It doesn't use up the file, so I could just make 64 Ignis labels right here, and I'd still have the file left over. But I'm just gonna pull out one and then save the rest for later. Now then, come over here to our alembics, and you'll see that I've already got them labeled up. Now, an alembic or a jar with a label on it can only accept the type of Essentia that it's labeled for. So in this case we've got trees, metal, recycle, void, and machine. The 5 Essentia that a hopper breaks down into. So connected to those I have Essentia valves and warded jars. And this setup I just thought of, off screen after my last video, and I'm kind of kicking myself for not thinking of it earlier, because it's actually pretty well, it kind of simplifies things. Now again, if you're just normally breaking down 1 or 2 things, it's much easier to just right click on the alembic with a warded jar or a file rather than setting this up. If you're breaking down a whole lot of something and just want to let it sit and do its own thing for a while, this will work pretty good. So let's just toss 5 hoppers in there. It's going to take them a little while to... Whoop. Alembics are empty. And... Alright, I need to explain suction. Hold on. Let me just grab a warded jar here. Now then. Whoops, set that on a light source. Anyway, the way that suction works is kind of annoying, but you attach some tubes to a warded jar. Each warded jar has a suction total of 32, which means that it can suck through 32 lengths of Essentia tube before it can't suck anymore. And the closer it is to the source of the Essentia, the stronger it sucks. And here things are... Hold on, I'm lagging a little, but things are separating out nicely. Now what I'm going to do here is just open up this valve because it seems to be a little overfull. Whoops, wrong valve. This is the one I want to open. And that effectively triples the size of the alembic and gives it somewhere to overflow into. If you don't label it, you can get things mixed up, and it's just annoying. Anyway, suction, once again. Currently in these tubes, right click with the resonator and it'll tell you there's 0 suction going on. Hold on, I'm gonna close this off and connect these up. So if I open this valve right here, yeah, it doesn't like that much because it's got a long way to go. And it's currently sucking. I'm doing a really bad job of explaining this right now, aren't I? But anyway, the point is that it's complicated and kind of messy, and just the tools I've given you just here is probably enough to work with things a little bit. Okay, when the little gray thing is pointed left, the valve is open. When it's right, it's closed. And anyway, the suction. Essentia tubes are a major headache for me, and I don't like messing with them. But I'm sure the more mechanically minded among you could figure out something, amazing to make with all of these tubes. I'm rambling again. I'm sorry. I figured I'd just give you a quick intro in how Essentia tubes work and kind of the headaches they do. This is... Let's see what happens when I open this. Doesn't like that because now it's got untyped suction fighting with this suction, and it just doesn't like that. Anyway, if you enjoyed this, please, if you found this helpful, please let me know. If you didn't find this helpful, let me know so I can do better next time. And it probably wasn't helpful, but I don't like Essentia tubes. I much prefer to just take the jar and just go like that. Empty to limbic. No muss, no fuss. And, please... Well, you're probably not going to like the video because it's not that entertaining, but please subscribe if you'd like to see more from us. And I do have a lot more set up for Thaumcraft, and things are going to get really interesting. And don't mind this over here, I'm just feeding my black hole. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Bye-bye.